Welcome to the Amazon's podcast. I'm Glenn Young, owner of Amazon's Fitness Magazine. Celebrate the female physique. Subscribe to amazonsfitmag.com. Second podcast of the day. Total of 3 coming at you. And joining me now is IFBB Figure Pro Olympian Kristen Mcgregor, who is the first Jamaican representing the country of Jamaica on stage at the Olympia. She was at the Olympia in 2023, and she's continuing her quest this year. Welcome to the podcast. So glad I got a chance to talk to you.
Thank you for having me.
Now, full disclosure, I didn't know who you were. You did the Portugal Pro and you did the Atlanta Pro, but I didn't know who you were. I mean, obviously I saw you on stage. Obviously I was cheering, but I didn't know who that was. So now I do.
So why were you cheering? Let me know, why were you cheering?
Oh, you want to know? Well,
yes.
You look great. You ended up taking second, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not a judge. I'm a photographer. So everybody looks good to me. And so, yeah, I was cheering. I was like, okay, who's that? I thought your posing was spot on. The figure is all about that X factor, that X frame. But yeah, but I didn't know who you were, but I was like, okay, she looks great. But again, I'm a photographer, not a judge. So,
Gotcha.
But I know you now. I know who you are now. So give me some more background about who is Kristen Mcgregor.
So Kristen Mcgregor. My name is Kristen Mcgregor. I'm from Jamaica. I started bodybuilding in 2017. Before that, I used to do track and field, and I was also playing rugby. Been in athletics most, if not all, my life. And I think my last stop for sporting is bodybuilding at the moment. And yeah, that's it.
And the way that I found you, because I followed Dr. Trey Hodge, he made a post, and I saw this Cobra Princess 95. I said, oh, okay, that's one of his athletes. And then, of course, I put 2 and 2 together. I said, oh, she was at Atlanta. So how did you
Coach
find
Trey.
Trey Hodge? How do you find him? How did y'all
Coach
link up?
Trey is the best coach ever. The best. And I'm not saying this because he may see the video, but I'm saying this
of course he's gonna see it.
But I'm saying this because I genuinely believe he's the best coach ever. I've always tell you have persons who ask me, if I can recommend a coach or something, and especially for females, I think that Coach Trey is the best female coach you can ever have. He understands. He tries to work with you to his best of his ability. He doesn't get up. It's funny to me because women can be very nagging. And to me, he is always at his coolest. So, I mean, and he does bring good packages, I can attest for myself. We have won the Amateur Olympia together. We have now qualified for the Olympia together. Never placed less than top 5 since I've been working with him. And first Olympian, I was in top 15. So it's just to improve from here. And, we work as a team, and we win as a team.
And that's great. And I follow him because, I end up following his athletes based on him. And so Amy McCown, who was at the Olympia last year, women's physique, y'all were on stage together at the Olympia last year. Teresa Mota, who is the name, image, and likeness, the logo up over your head there, that is Amazon's Fitness Magazine. And then, of course, Sheena Olick. And I looked at it and said, well, all of these are his athletes. And so I just started following him and then learned the athletes, and have become fans of all of you now. And so, yeah, I was definitely screaming for Sheena Olick. at the Atlanta, but I knew who she was. But now I know who you are, and y'all have the
Right.
same. This is great. This is a good thing, and
Yep,
it's so
and we are going back to the Olympia.
yeah, exactly. It's so great to have the right coach. So important, and as you go forward now, you did the evolution, the big evolution in Portugal, the Portugal Pro. You did the Atlanta Pro. Talk to me about the feedback that you were given from both shows.
So I got a feedback from one of the judges,
Hmm.
and his feedback was for Portugal was that I was holding on to water in my legs,
Right.
and I wasn't as sharp enough in my legs. So if I can come down or get a little sharper for my next show,
Hmm.
then and he actually said I looked like I was 2 weeks to a week out from the show.
Mm,
So he said,
really?
given that if I take the time to pull the water, then I will be right on spot.
Hmm.
I expressed to him that I was coming to Atlanta, and he said,
Hmm.
"Well, you need to pull the water by then." However, I think by the time I got to Atlanta, the same judge, was also shocked by the transformation that I made between Portugal and Atlanta in 6 days.
Same judge was in
He,
Atlanta.
yes, he was the same judge in
Yeah,
Atlanta, and
good stuff.
I could see that he was very surprised but pleased at the same time to see
Yeah,
the transformation that we could have made in
good
6 days.
stuff.
And
Yeah.
his feedback to me was, backstage again, was that he was a little bit skeptical when I told him I was coming to Atlanta because he felt that it was 2 weeks. But when
Hmm.
he saw if I just had a little more tightness, I would have um, won the Atlanta Pro. But Miss Richards was a little tighter than I was in the
Yeah.
quads, and she took the crown for that one. Linda Murray, she also gave me her feedback to say, because I was backstage,
Hmm.
expressing to her that when I just started bodybuilding, a lot of persons, especially in Jamaica, they would say to me, I remind them of this bodybuilder in the back in the days. And
Hmm.
these persons are people who don't have any connection together. And all of them say that I remind them of Linda Murray. And when she saw me on stage, so when I expressed that to her, she
Uh-huh.
saw me on stage and she came backstage to me and she said to me, I can now appreciate what you were saying when people said, I remind them of her. And I mean, that stood out to me because at least a legend, which her like
Yeah.
herself is saying to me, that she can see herself in me, or her physique in me. So, that meant a lot to me also. So,
Very high praise. Very high praise.
right. So now we are hungry enough because
Yep.
coming from Portugal in top five, which is fifth place, and then
Hmm.
going to Atlanta Pro 6 days later and capturing the second place, we
Hmm.
have hope that we are right on the ball. So they said that three is a lucky charm. So hopefully by Tampa, we can crown that Olympian um, goal.
Just you take the feedback from both shows going into Tampa, and I'll be there. I already got my tickets. I know who you are. So, and I'll be hollering for you.
Right.
So, what is the plan uh week out from Tampa? Peak week on will you arrive? What's your game plan going into Tampa?
Well, my game plan is always the same, follow whatever my coach gives me and bring whatever package we bring to the table,
Yeah.
to the stage. But I don't divert from anything. I don't do anything on my own. It's all what Coach Trey says, and how we in the order that we go.
I'll definitely be screaming for you and Sheena Olick for sure. Because it's great to see you guys on stage. Um, Amazing. Love the lighting. And it couldn't have been a more impressive show in Atlanta. And it's going to be on in bigger and greater things in Tampa. Another Tim Gardner show. I got to ask, were you thinking about Chicago or was it always going to be Tampa?
Well, I wasn't thinking about Tampa either. It was literally a 24-hour decision.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because by right, I was supposed to be back in England where I started my journey from.
Yeah.
And my journey ended up in California.
Yeah.
So, to keep me in the warmer climate and
Yeah.
try for Tampa. So, Tampa was never in the picture. It was only Portugal and Atlanta. And within 24 hours, I am here in California training for Tampa with the hope of qualifying for the Olympia.
For your second Olympia.
Right.
And this is great because you're still young in the game, to be staring down the barrel of your second possible qualification to the Olympia. Ultimately, it's not just to get to the Olympia, it's to get to the Olympia and win. And of course, y'all going against Dynasty as well as Legacy and Sid Gillian, who has 7, looking at 8. What is it going to take to beat Sid Gillian? I know.
I think that's a hard question.
That's the same response for everybody. Like,
yeah, that's a hard question because, as you said, Dynasty and Legacy, they go hand in hand.
Yes.
But as I said, no one is unbeatable.
No.
And it just will require for you to put in a little bit more work, be a little bit more determined, be a little bit more disciplined, and put it all out on the table. If you really want it, then you can achieve it, because there is no one that is too great for you to can't beat them, So I don't think she's unbeatable. I just think that it takes the right mindset to come against Sydney.
And she's the closest thing to perfection.
Yes, she is.
She has the perfect X frame. Yes. And so it just is what it is. But, that's why, you're on that Olympia stage. It's just, there's levels to it. And from that amateur to pro, and then that pro to Olympian, and then the Olympia stage itself is like night and day, like going from college to the NFL.
And I'm sure with my first experience, this year would be a better performance, because now that I know what to expect, I can deliver much better.
So when you went to your first Olympia last year, were you just like eyes wide open, like a deer stuck in the headlight?
I felt like I wasn't I felt like I wasn't a competitor. I felt like I was a spectator. I was a spectator, because I'm seeing all these girls that I follow on Instagram, and it felt like, oh my God, Sydney, oh my God, more than, listen, you're also a competitor. Get with the program, Yeah. But there were moments when I felt like a competitor, and there were moments when I felt like a spectator. Seeing the whole production, in 2020 I was meeting the pros, and then in 2023 I am the pro to meet. So it was like that flip. That experience was also a good one for me. And then the whole being on stage with all these phenomenal women, it was just an experience. In last year was just literally an experience,
right,
for me. So now that I have that experience, now that I know what to expect, now that I have an idea of everything, this year would be a different ball game.
Go get it. So I mean,
Because
it
we're
doesn't
not
get
going
any
back
better
for
than this.
15 place, of course.
No, no.
No, and we're not
And
going lower than 15 either. So,
I hear you. No, you
so
want to do. You definitely want to do worse. That
yes,
you do not want to do worse. But
no,
yeah, crack the top 10, top 5. Hey, you never know. You go in thinking that you're gonna win. You get your mindset right, and then however it shakes out, it shakes out. But if you go in, well, I just want a place. I'm just glad to be here. I want to be top 5. You psych yourself out because it really is about a mindset. But if you've done what
yes,
you're
it is.
supposed to do, leave it all out there on the table and let it go. Because not
Exactly.
everybody gets to be an Olympian.
Nope.
So tell me about your family support. Do they like what you do? Do they love the fact that you are an Olympian?
Well, so I'm more from a what you would call a Christian background,
Very conservative
right?
Christian. Uh-huh.
Right, and they are not very much of a fan of this type of sport.
Yeah.
My dad, he doesn't really support it. He support
Mm.
me, but he doesn't support the
Yeah.
sport.
Right.
Um, my mom has mixed feelings, um, and I guess they just allow me to do what I want to do because at the end of the day, I want to do it, and I'm not gonna allow them to deter me from it. So
Right.
it's what it is. But it's not the strongest,
Yeah.
but I have people around me who supports me 100%, who ensures that I get to the level that I need to get because they see my talent and my work ethics, and they want to fuel that that call it now,
That fire within you.
that yeah, that fire, that ambition. And
Yeah.
I have to this year was like one of the year where I could really see that people actually care and people are
Mm-hmm.
actually looking out. Like,
Mm-hmm.
for example, I have a good friend of mine, who his name is Toby Sharp. Toby had
Mm-hmm.
really given me the second chance to qualify for the Olympia. So, I have to give Coach Trey, Toby, Shula the thanks, because they are that circle who tries to push me to the other side, because they
Right.
can see my potential. They can see, you know, that I meant for the Olympian stage, and they want to ensure that I have that chance again. So I have to give them big thanks for that, especially for this year. Because this year, if it wasn't for them, my season would have ended in Atlanta. But they have all
Yeah.
given me a second chance to prove myself and to prove my talent.
Well, you definitely got it. So you're gonna be fine. Uh, the list will be out. The official list will be out, of course, next week for Tampa. But hey, go get it. You know.
Right. And I have my
So.
local sponsors back home. I have two
Mm-hmm.
local sponsors who helps me to get to Atlanta and Portugal, which is the Kingston Freeport Terminal. That's it,
Mm-hmm.
and Jamaica Nationals. They were the two who had me being able to show at the Atlanta.
That's great because you can't do it without sponsors. You can't do it without support and help. So I'm glad that you have it.
Now I have my GoFundMe page going so that I can get some more support, because we're gonna need it.
Uh, so you got your GoFundMe page. I'll make sure I rebroadcast that as well. Where are you coming up short?
Pardon?
Where are you coming up short as far as your funding? Are you close to your goal? Are you way off?
I'm way out from my goal.
Okay. What's your goal?
So my goal is 12,
Okay.
around 12, and I'm at 116. 60.
Okay. You need 12K and you're at $160. All
Right.
right. All right. I'm
So
gonna put it out there. So
we're now
everybody that's
trying to
seeing this
push that pace.
broadcast, I need you to go to her GoFundMe page on her Instagram and let's get her to the what she needs to have the 12K because we want to see her in Tampa. So let's make this happen.
Thank you very much.
Of course. Of course. I'm definitely gonna go to it and put something in there. But yeah, because we gotta see you in it. We gotta see you in Tampa. So
Yes.
I already bought tickets, so hey, you better be there,
We're gonna be there. We're
Yeah.
gonna be there.
But and I get it, it costs so much, especially to come from overseas to compete or vice versa, to go overseas and compete. And so this is your third show.
Yes.
And I gotta ask, if you don't get the Olympia qualification this time, will you shut it down or will you try to go to Anaheim or what else is left? Romania, but I think that's after. But yeah, what will you
Well,
do?
I am not sure. I would wait on the directive from Coach Trey again.
Right.
But yeah. So I'll just wait for more information, for more instruction. But for
Right.
now, we have our eyes on Tampa at the moment.
Yep. The other flip side of the coin is this will be your third show. You feel you still have enough gas in the tank? You win in Tampa, you qualify for the Olympia. Uh, August 1st to October 10th, you can put together a nice little game plan. You think you'll be good to go? Or do you think you feel like you're running out of gas? Because it's been a long season. You've been in prep how long?
Well, I've been in prep for Portugal, so Portugal was
Okay.
July, so I was been prep before that.
Yeah, when did you start your prep?
Well, call it about March.
March. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
about March. Yeah, March, mid-April, thereabouts. But as long as I get some good food to refuel the energy after Tampa,
You ready to
I have
go?
my mind on two already. And also, as long as I get that win is enough to
Yes.
fuel me to go to
Yeah.
the Olympics, because then I have something else to work towards. Another
And that'll pump
package,
you back
another
up.
goal, another position, another everything. So
Right.
the fire will be burning just the same.
I know it will. I know it will. I really appreciate you talking to me. What's your diet been like during this prep? Did you do fish? Did you do chicken?
Chicken,
Did you do any red meat?
chicken.
Chicken? Okay. Chicken and rice?
Not that I don't eat fish and red meat, but chicken is easier to prepare for me.
Okay. Okay. Good stuff.
Right.
The figure division. Um, one of the three muscle divisions, I call them: women's physique, women's bodybuilding, and figure. Um, you guys are not short of shows. I think you guys are okay, although you're no longer at the Arnolds. What would you like to see change as far as the figure division, where you feel everything is pretty much good to go, whether it's prize money or whether more shows? Why come there's not a show in Jamaica? That would be interesting, wouldn't it? The Jamaica Pro,
There is a reason for that, because one, I
the
think,
storms,
repeat.
and I guess the instability,
Yes,
of the country. Yeah,
but in terms of the only fault that I see with the category or bodybuilding on a whole on the women's side is that we don't get the I don't think we get enough respect um in the sport. Also, I think that the payouts can be more because we are females, and I think we have to do a lot more work than the men in order to bring our physique to the to where they want it to be.
Right.
So with the margin of payment, I think that we need to get more and to allow us to feel like our work is being recognized, and not just,
Right.
they're women and we're just on stage to look pretty, and it's not a pageant show. It's
Right.
literally something where we have to deplete our body, we manipulate our hormones, we all of that. So it's kind of a sense of, if I should go out on a limb and say disrespect in the terms of how you pay out to the females versus the
Right.
males. And I mean, in every sport, the men always get more payouts. But
Right.
in terms of bodybuilding, I think we can get more than what we are getting at the moment. So
Definitely
that's
been
where,
champing that all season. Yeah.
so
More
that
prize money.
yeah, that is where the problem
Yeah.
in the, especially the female fraternity,
Right.
lies.
For sure. And I hate what's going on in your country. I would have liked to see a Jamaica Pro because it is a beautiful country, despite everything that everybody sees on the news and whatnot.
Maybe I'm gonna
And
be
then,
the one to carry it, just like Sydney has her show now. Maybe I'm gonna be the one to carry the show
okay,
into Jamaica. Let's see.
yeah, exactly. Bring your flag too. Well, that's good
I
stuff.
have my flag.
I saw some pictures on your page, but yeah.
Yes, I do.
So
I
I'm
have
gonna
it.
let yeah. So I'm gonna let you out of here on this one. We'll go out on a positive note. How did you get the name Cobra? Was it Cobra Princess 95? Where did
So
that come
Cobra
from?
Princess 95 came from when I just started bodybuilding, and my back was the statement piece. And it's still the statement piece of
Yeah.
my physique. And I remember posting a picture on Instagram, and the comments that the names, I think
Mhm.
somebody had put out, what should we call her or something to that effect. And I
Right.
remember seeing Cobra Princess, and I was like, and I saw Cobra Princess, I saw Muscle Barbie, and something. And I fell in love with Cobra Princess because I felt like I represented that name well. And
hmm
I took that name and I ran with it. 95 is just, if I should say, the year that I was born.
The year you was born. Well, you sort of could guess that.
So,
Sort of
right.
could
So
guess that.
that's how Cobra Princess 95 came about.
So your most dominant feature is your back. So as
Yes.
they say, shows a
That
one from the back.
the show wins from the back. Yes.
Yeah. But I believe they can be lost in the front because when they see that abdomen, you know, that's a
Well,
great
the
sign of
good thing
condition.
is I have a small waist, a
Uh-huh.
wide back. So I am right on the money where that is concerned. And my
Good stuff.
abdominal structure is very spot on. So
Yeah.
we just need to
Yeah.
get the legs a little tighter and we will have that physique,
Yeah.
that A physique.
Well, you got a great X frame and a great figure, like I said. But I'm a photographer, not a judge, so I'm praying it's going to work out for you. I think you're going to be okay, and we're going to do a call to action on this GoFundMe so that we can make sure you got everything that you need and as you go to Tampa. So I'm looking forward to seeing you.
Do appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Oh, when you going to move to the States? I always like to ask everybody overseas, man. You got to move to the States.
I'm
You got to
not
move to the
sure,
East Coast,
but
so not the West Coast. I know it's nice and warm on the West Coast. Man, shoot,
I'm
being on
not
the West
sure,
Coast like being overseas.
but I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it.
Well, that's great. Look forward to talking to you and seeing you actually meeting you for real in Tampa, as opposed to just hollering from the stage and like, oh, who's that? Because I know who you are now. So
Well, I look forward to meet you too.
thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon, Christine.
All right.
All right. Bye now.
Bye.
So there you have it. Kristen Mcgregor on her quest to get her second Olympia qualification, first one in 2023. And as you can see, look on her Instagram page, pick up on her GoFundMe. I'm going to go there right after this and help her raise these funds to get to the Tampa Pro. As the case with all competitors, it's expensive. It is what it is. And so if you want to see your favorite competitor, then you'll do the things that you need to do to help sponsor them, to support them, because it does mean a lot when you show up to the shows and they hear their names being called, because support is everything. It's no different than back in the day when you were playing Little League baseball or football and you looked up in the stadium and there were your parents. It's the same feeling, I can assure you. So thanks so much for her coming on. Kristen Mcgregor, the Cobra Princess 95. Go to her Instagram page and certainly go ahead and contribute funds to her GoFundMe so we can see her in Tampa. Another athlete of Dr. Trey Hodge, as well as Sheena Olig. So I just ended up following his athletes because it just worked out that way. Here locally, working with Amy McCown, who's women's physique, who was in the Olympia last year, and of course Teresa Moda, who became the name, image, and likeness, the brand logo of Amazon's fitness magazine. So you never know. It just you can link athletes to coaches, and you see what the coaches out there that are the most successful in getting them to the Olympia stage and winning on the Olympia stage. Those are the coaches that, and there should be a Coach of the Year award because those guys are down in the trenches that won't take all, but they'll take all of the blame when something goes wrong. So it's not easy for what they do, but let's give it up for the coaches. Coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, first programming note, as I said earlier, Christina Mendoza. She will be on the podcast on Thursday at 3 p.m. Thursday at 3 p.m. So that's a programming note. Make sure you are tuning in for that podcast and see her. But up next, two-time show champion, just won at the Chicago Pro. She won in Atlanta. Anna Horius will be on the podcast at 8:30 p.m. So make sure you tune in at 8:30 for a third show of the day, and that'll close us out. Amazing to see her on stage. Can't wait to talk to her in person. Talk to her husband at length at the show because he was sitting right beside me, and everybody was screaming and yelling. But amazing physique, and to go back to back, and she's not done yet. She is not done yet. And so we're going to talk to her at 8:30 p.m. So make sure you guys tune in. I'm Glenn Young. Like, share, and subscribe to the Amazon's Fitness Mag YouTube channel, on Instagram as well, as if I had to say that. But always, when you do more, I can do more. And that takes your subscriptions on the website, amazonsfitmag.com. So I will see you guys at 8:30 p.m.